What's up, guys? Blade Master here, back with some more Total War Rome 2 online action. I'm fighting up against Helvetian Slayer in this matchup. I believe he's a viewer of the channel, and I fought him on quick battles, and he's a pretty cool guy. And he decided to take Getae in this matchup, and I decided to take Suebi as a counter pick. Picked a pretty weird Suebi counter build, but let's see how it goes. I've also changed my presentation style to make it a bit more informative, as well as saving a bit of time while explaining the builds and stuff, and also making it look a bit better. So with the help of my MLG editing skills, so let's see how it goes. We're fighting in the map of Iliada, by the way. It's kind of similar to Nemrusena, except it's got like this valley in the center, as you can see here, and that kind of gives like a slight downhill / uphill advantage, but basically featureless. With Getae, I've brought a total of 3 bow horsemen, whom I'm going to move all the way up in front. I already deployed my main body quite far behind, just giving my opponent something to chase. I've also brought a total of 6 noble horsemen, including 1 noble horse general. Risky unit to bring for sure, because these are elite tier shock cavalry who don't really have the stats and the armor to back that up. But against a Suebi army that's almost always going to be very low in mass, these shock cavalry can actually do pretty well. I've also brought a total of 2 spears and 1 armored spears, and 4 Dacian heavy bowmen. So clearly my spear line is not going to win anything. I'm going to count on the use of my Dacian heavy bowmen and the fact that they have quick reload, and against the low armor of most traditional Suebi builds, to try and win me the game. So let's take a look at what Helvetian Slayer has brought on the other hand. He's brought a total of 4 spear wall, and he's also brought 3 Cimbri bowmen behind them. He's also brought 1 Germanic youth, a total of 2 riders of the hunt, a total of 2 Germanic scout riders, 3 wolf warriors, a couple of sword masters, and 1 Woden spear general. So in terms of skirmishing, I believe I have a pretty distinct advantage, because the Cimbri bowwomen really wouldn't be able to match against the more heavily armored Dacian heavy bows, and I can slaughter them. His spear wall will definitely destroy my terrible spear line. His sword masters and his Woden spear are going to be a bother. And his riders of the hunt could get destroyed by my noble horse very easily. But on the other hand, if they get into my Dacian heavy bowmen with their light mass, they can actually be really quick and just catch them early on, and then maybe even kill them. So that could be a potential risk. My bow horseman will have to kill off his Germanic scout riders if I want to win this game, and then with their extra ammunition, try and kill off, either snipe his Woden spear general, or maybe kill off these wolf warriors, who we all know have a very good bonus versus infantry, but they have terrible armor, so they're very susceptible to skirmishers in general. So a couple of volleys from heavy shot should probably do the trick. But that's the end of my tactical view on this matchup, and then let's just get back to the action now. So I'm moving up in front with my bow horseman as expected. This matchup is actually going to last for quite a while. So I'm moving up with my bow horseman, and he's going to screen off pretty effectively with his Germanic scout riders. And I'm content with just letting loose a couple of volleys. They are very light missile cavalry, so they'll probably be very quick, and they can probably just skirmish. They can do pretty well in a skirmish battle. But if they've been set with attack orders on my units, they'll probably die very quickly, and that's not a good use of them. So I'm just content getting some shots off, all the way already down to 52 men, but I am being forced to move closer and closer to my main line. And then let's just put this on fast forward. He's using 1 Germanic scout rider each time to try and screen off my units, and that's just giving me 1 easy target to aim at, which is not really what he would want to do. So they're starting to drop by quite a few units, 52 on one, 54 on the other. Meanwhile, I've lost only 2 units. I'm also moving up with one of my other bow horsemen up in front, closer to his main line, so he always feels that there's a threat. So I'm moving away with this 1 bow horseman, and I'm going to give chase with the other 2. I'm getting pretty close to his Germanic youths here, but it's not a wise move to try and rush them in with the bow horseman, because he's also got that riders of the hunt. They're just waiting for me to make like a melee move, and then that mistake would probably cost 2 of my bow horsemen. He's moving up with one of his Cimbri bowwomen to try and again screen off my bow horsemen. They haven't taken any casualties yet, but they are pretty tired. 2 of them are winded. I believe this one is tired. Yeah, no, all 3 of them are winded. He's moving really, high up in front with his Germanic youths, which is a very risky strategy, because I've got 6 noble noble horse, ready to pounce. He's also moving up in front with his main line. His main line is just going to slaughter mine if they get close enough. I just need to be crazy good at kiting to try and win me this game. Definitely a risky build, not a very good build with Getae, but it could possibly win. Not against this Getae build though, because he's actually I don't even know if he was expecting this. I wouldn't have expected this Getae army, but he still has managed to bring a really good counter because the spear wall can do very well against noble horsemen. I was basically counting on him to bring a very traditional Arya-Vistus rush army. He hasn't even brought the Arya-Vistus general, which is really strange. Maybe he doesn't have, but he maybe he's the one of like the 5 people in the history of Total War who has Daughters of Mars DLC but doesn't have Caesar and Gaul DLC. So that could be the case because it doesn't look like he has the Arya-Vistus general. But Riders of the Hunt, I don't know if Riders of the Hunt. Yeah, I mean, I think they're a default unit. But Daughters of Mars, I mean, you need Daughters of Mars to get Kimberly Bowman. So he's definitely got that DLC. I'm not really sure if he has Caesar and Gaul. Again, Helvetian Slayer, if you're watching this video, then let me know. Moving way too close with his Germanic youths here. His Germanic scout riders have gotten slaughtered. They're down to half strength. But a lot of my ammo also has been depleted. I'm just chilling with the other bow horsemen, just because they're going to have to do a lot of kiting as well later on in the game. I'm going to move in with my noble horse to try and attack his Germanic youths. Let's see how that goes. They are moving super slow, and he's able to catch them with his Germanic scouts. I need to attack them and then immediately run away, pull away with my noble horsemen. They've already got 36 kills on the charge because these are light melee cavalry, so they'll get slaughtered on the charge. But they've also taken 4 casualties, and they'll keep getting killed as they're trying to pull away. And they're about to attack this Germanic youth, and that's it for them. These Germanic scout riders, on the other hand, have also gotten slaughtered. My bow horsemen have actually done a pretty good job in that sense. Now he's moving up with his main line, and I'm going to try and focus fire on his Kimberly bowmen. You can see they're starting to get pretty depleted just off one volley. I'm focus firing with 4 of my Dacian heavy bowmen, keeping one of my spears up in front just to use them as arrow fodder. He's moving up with his wolf warriors, and I'm forced to kite back with my bow horsemen. But these wolf warriors are a pretty excellent bait for my noble horse to try and charge in. I'm going to pull around with a couple of my noble horse on either side, and I'm going to pull away with the rest of my main line, and I'm going to charge into his wolf warriors here with my noble horsemen. But the problem is I'm also getting some shots off with my bow horsemen, which could probably cause some friendly fire casualties. I'm also targeting his wolf warriors here with a couple of my Dacian heavy bowmen. His Kimberly bowmen, one of them are almost done. Meanwhile, my Dacian heavy bows really haven't taken much casualties, but I think he's targeting my general there, which is going to be pretty bad for me if I don't move away with him. I'm going to charge into his other wolf warriors with my noble horse here, but he's brought his spear wall and he's put them in wedge, which is kind of strange. Don't really think that really affects their abilities, but it's a cool ability for sure. But he's going to pull in with his spear wall, and that's going to be pretty devastating for my noble horse if they manage to catch them. And they didn't end up getting a proper charge. It's pretty strange how they didn't get a proper charge. But these wolf warriors are going to get slaughtered by a second charge from my noble horseman. But the point is that he's managed to catch a couple of these units. I'm charging head on with my noble horse general onto his wolf warriors, and they are getting just absolutely slaughtered. But I think this is going to give him a prime target to aim at with his Kimberly bows. And the lack of armor for these noble horse is really going to come into play here, and I think I just sniped my own general at this point, and he's definitely gotten a great volley off with his wooden spears onto my noble horse, and this is definitely not looking good for me. You can see the number of casualties I've taken, and oh my god, I just slaughtered my own noble horseman unit. I just killed my own general. These are a bunch of traitors. But I just killed my own general. General recently died is definitely there. So that's a huge penalty on top of me losing a very expensive shock cav unit. The other noble horsemen, I mean, despite taking a lot of casualties, they've actually done pretty well. I've also circled around with another noble horse, but they're getting slaughtered by those Germanic scouts. I don't think they're getting slaughtered actually, but they're taking a lot of casualties, unnecessary casualties. 206 kills with one of my noble horse though, and they're going to get again slaughtered by just repeated javelin volleys from his sword units. I've still got all 4 of my Dacian heavy bowmen. Meanwhile, he has got... Yeah, sorry about that. Anyways, he's got 2 of his Kimberly bowmen left, one of whom is wavering. He's got one of them who's at full strength, but I think I still have a lot of ammo left with my Dacian heavy bowmen, and they're getting some shots onto the backs of his sword masters, which is going to be pretty devastating for him. Meanwhile, my armored spears are just, holding off his wolf warriors and his warden spears, but they're going to take a lot of casualties in the process because these wolf warriors are going to get, they're going to pretty much devastate them. And the whole fear effect is also going to play here. His Riders of the Hunt got charged by my noble horsemen. They're going to get slaughtered. They haven't affected this match at all. He's running after my bow horsemen who have heavy shot on with his swordmaster, so they're going to take a lot of casualties in the process. Noble horseman here getting 117 kills, killing off his Kimberly bowmen. But again, he's got a lot of timely spear support. I'm getting some shots onto the rear of his general here, and you can see they're starting to lose a lot of men, which is great for me. And his wolf warriors also will take a ton of casualties in the process. Just a rain of arrows onto the backs of these units, and that is going to be pretty devastating. I'm charging into his sword masters here. He's popped shield wall and headhunt, which is smart because that's going to increase their attacking capabilities as well as being in shield wall, which would help them defensively. So I'm going to pull through because I had wedge formation on, and I have a feeling that maybe using wedge formation would allow your units to pass through pretty quickly through an otherwise dense formation because they're more compact. But here you can see his Warden spears are just getting slaughtered by my Dacian heavy bowmen. I've charged into his spear wall here with my Dacian heavy bows. I thought that these units would actually do pretty well because these heavy bows have got pretty decent melee attack and weapon damage, but at the end of the day, they still won't be able to do too much. Noble horseman here with only 7 units left, just running away from his Warden spears while my Dacian heavy bows lose some more arrows on them. Looks like I'm fighting a losing battle here, even though the balance of power is in my favor just because I have so many skirmishers left. His spear wall are going to charge into, I think, this other Dacian heavy bows here. Meanwhile, these Dacian heavy bowmen who are fighting up against those spear wall are just getting slaughtered. Not getting many casualties also. I mean, not getting many kills in the process either. His Warden spears only have 33 units left, and if he gets, I think he's out of javelin volleys with his spears and his sword units at this point, which is good for me because more than anything, those javelin volleys are so deadly to the low armor of these noble horsemen. So I'm charging in with this depleted unit onto his incredibly depleted wolf warriors, and that's obviously going to go in my favor. But he just has too many swords at this point. Two full strength basically sword masters. I've sniped his general at this point. They've only got like 32 men left, and after that charge they'll probably lose a few more men. Yeah, 30. But my noble horse is done. I'm going to charge into his countercharged sword master, so they're going to lose a lot of men as well. And that's the problem at this point. I have only 2 Dacian heavy bowmen, and this one is routed, and they just don't have any ammo left. So that's basically it. 3 minutes left for some reason. I'm kind of surprised that there's 3 minutes left. He still has some. No, he doesn't have any ammo left with his Kimberly bows, which is kind of strange. It didn't look like they, had plenty of opportunities to fire into my men. But all in all, my noble horse did okay, except that I just sniped my own general, which is an absolutely ridiculous mistake on my part. But just goes to kind of show that with noble horse, you really can't make a single mistake, and then they might be useful. So it just, for an elite tier shock cav, they're just not worth it. A very nice unit on paper, and definitely gives Getae a lot of flexibility on paper, but just like a lot of Getae's roster, it just isn't good enough to make them a very potent force. In a couple of patches before, they used to be a really good faction, a very potent anti-barbarian counter, and a pretty good counter to the eastern factions as well, and some of the like Seleucids in Egypt and stuff, because they had bow horsemen. But now it's just not good enough. But noble swords definitely are a very potent force though. But coming back to the game, there's still 2 minutes left. I think I've got some more volleys left in my Dacian heavy bowman. Let's put this back onto fast forward. My bow horsemen here is just running away. They're starting to get, wavering. The men are wavering. But I'm shooting into his Kimberly bows here. It's a downhill, set of volleys for me. So these Kimberly bowmen will obviously get slaughtered here. 34 units left. They've actually got a single experience chevron, which is pretty good. But my Dacian heavy bowmen have got 121 kills. Pretty well done by these units. I'm going to run away from his sword masters here. Just run away with these Dacian heavy bowmen as well. And I thought that I'd be able to rout those Kimberly bowmen by that. His general still hasn't died. Oh, I didn't manage to snipe his general effectively. But maybe they might die from this final charge from these incredibly tired, exhausted noble horsemen. He's put his units onto wedge. I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure that's probably going to make them more susceptible to the charge. And there we go. Wavering casualty sustained. They have to rout now. But at the end of the day, it's just not going to be good enough. I'm going to chase after his spears. Rear charge them with my noble horse. The spear wall, because the general recently died, that morale penalty is just so deadly. Despite them clearly winning, these units almost were. I mean, they were wavering for a couple of seconds. But again, just not good enough for my noble horseman, and that's what lost me the match. So taking a look at the stats here, you can see that 3 of my noble horse did pretty well. 281 kills on one, 131, 140, 145, but three of them just did nothing, including my general. And sniping my own general at the start of the game was just a terrible move. My four Dacian heavy bowmen actually did okay. They had 71, 82, 137 kills on units that cost only like 440 talents. It's not bad at all. 59 is a bit less though. Armored Spears just didn't do much. Spears, these two units were never meant to really do anything in the game. Meanwhile, for Helvetian Slayer, his spear wall actually did well, and it was a risk that paid off. Bringing these units against a noble sword heavy Getae army would be suicide. I can see why he decided to bring them though, because of their high melee defense. They'd probably be able to, perform close to their name, like their actual spear wall. They could actually be a spear wall. But his sword masters didn't really play much of a part. Didn't need to. His wolf warriors got slaughtered by my charges. His Wardenized spears also could have played a much bigger role in the game, but ended up not, being as effective as they could be. Kimby bowmen didn't stand to my Dacian heavy bowmen as I predicted. His Germanic scout riders could have been used more effectively to try and kill off my noble horsemen, but I managed to screen them off and kill them off with my bow horsemen very early on. And his riders of the hunt obviously didn't do much. When they got charged by my noble horsemen, that was lights out for them. Anyways, guys, that's the end of this battle. Hope you enjoyed it. Anyways, guys, that's the end of this battle. Hope you enjoyed it and stay tuned for more. Peace.